Yes, hello, it's me, Andrew, and a very, very warm welcome to the Ibrox Channel podcast, where this is the day after the night before, where Rangers ran out 4-0 winners against Stoya. So we'll delve into that a little bit. I've got a couple of interviews for some patrons down at RFCSA London, the London branch. So we'll hear them in just a second, and I'll kind of just go through some kind of player ratings, really. It was a good win. So let's get to it. So let's hear from the first patron. This was at halftime. I spoke with Billy, who's been on the pod before. Lovely Northern Irishman, Billy. Got a very good bit of insight as well. And then straight after, we'll have a clip from the final whistle from a lovely guy, originally from Northampton, lives down in Guildford. His name is Greg, he said, and he was named after John Greg. So there we go. So we'll hear that in just a second after this from Billy. So it's half time. I'm down at the Bermondsey Beer Keller taking in the Rangers FC. I can't even say it. Stoya Bucharest. We'll go with that. That's what we're used to. Yeah. It's Stoya Bucharest to everyone. So we're at half time. We're 2-0 up. A bit of a scrappy game, but we're fairly comfortable, aren't we?
Yeah, no, absolutely happy with that. To be honest with you, I think it's a wee bit of a get out of jail free card after the weekend. But no, I can't complain. I think we've out-scrapped a scrappy team.
Do you know what? That's actually the best way of putting it. I didn't even introduce you there, Billy, but Billy's been on the podcast before at half-time at I think it was the Old Firm game, wasn't it? A game we'll forget. But good to have you back on, Billy. But in the first half, obviously, we had an incident about 2 minutes in. Jack Butland seemed to have lost control of the ball, and the Stoya striker puts it in the net. Now, in real time, it looked like an absolute mess from Butland, but it looked like there was a bit of a coming together with the legs. I don't want to exactly say a foul, because it's one of those a little bit. But is that a free kick for you?
I'd say it's a wee bit of get out of jail free, if I'm completely honest. I would be annoyed if it was the other side, but clearly I'm happy with the referee's decision.
Yeah, do you know what? It's one of those. I look back at the Morelos incident against Dortmund, where he was swinging for the ball, defender puts his leg in the way, and he catches Morelos. But it's one of those. It's modern football now. It's the way the rules are looked at, isn't it, with VAR and everything. Obviously, VAR would have looked at it, so we know that it probably should have got chopped off. I'm sure we'll see some raging random tweets from other people that might say different, because of course the Italian referees are probably in the Masonic Lodge. That'd be very likely, wouldn't it? But so the first goal, that was an absolute belter of a goal from Tom Lawrence. What did you make of his performance tonight before going off injured?
So, to be fair, I think Tom Lawrence has been getting a lot of stick from a lot of people. I think Tom Lawrence is a player who plays at our level at this moment in time, and we probably need to enable Tom to play in his best positions. We don't have a defensive midfielder who is consistent, and we think we try to ask him to play different positions on a regular basis. But at the same stage, you can't argue with the strike, you can't argue with the goal, so it's all good.
It's the usual what you kind of see from Lawrence, sadly, these days. When he starts hitting a bit of form and starts playing quite well, like he kind of did at Derby, then boom, he's off injured. Sadly, it's sad to see him go off, but that's part of the Rangers curse that's just currently ongoing. It's been a quiet game for Bajrami, but towards the end of the half there, he played like a lovely ball into the box after nutmegging and sending their right back for a hot dog. What did you reckon to Czerny's goal? Because Czerny, he's been in the thick of it a bit tonight, not had too much, like a lot of the players, not had a lot to kind of show for what they've done tonight, but it was a good goal from Czerny, wasn't it?
No, absolutely, and especially on his right foot, which I've been a massive critic of Czerny since he came in. I think he's very predictable. I think people have worked him out, but the likes of tonight where he scores a goal on his right foot, and it was an excellent finish, that will make a lot of our clubs think a little bit different of him, and that will help us. But it's one of the ones, as you're right to say, we haven't quite clicked yet. We're 2-0 up and we haven't clicked, so hopefully the second half it could go well for us.
Do you know what? I'm hoping that's the case because, of course, Lovelace is on the bench. I'm hoping we might see him in the second half. You never know. He might experiment. Not that Clement likes to change really too much in the game. I think the thing with Czerny is, yes, he's quite one-dimensional when you look at him, but I can't help but think a lot of it's tactical. I think he's told to do one thing and one thing only. So I guess we'll find out more as the season goes on. But it's been a strange first half. Not been the most entertaining game of football. Stoya have been able to move the ball around a bit. They've had a couple of half chances, bar the 1-2 minutes in, which was a free kick, which ended up in the back of the net. But we've been fairly comfortable. I'm sure Gigi Becali is going to be getting his shorts out and his boots on, and will be up front for the second half, won't he?
Absolutely. I think it's one of them ones where it's on us now. We only lose if we make mistakes. So what we don't need is Suter to turn up in the right wing at any stage, as he did in the last couple of minutes of that half. Maybe just be professional, reinforce what works, and not make any mistakes.
Do you know what? Suter was on his holidays there, wasn't he? I don't know what he just had the ball and thought, I'm going to go for it. He got right to the byline as well, didn't he? But we can't complain. It's 2-0 so far. Hopefully we can keep it that way and at least get a few more goals. Billy, thanks for speaking to us. And just before you go, was that a handball?
No comment.
No comment. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Cheers, big man. So that was Billy there speaking at half-time when we were 2-0 up, kind of going through some of the stuff in the first half and the general feeling. Obviously, the first half was a bit of a scrappy game, wasn't it? So let's go into some details and some stats. So, of course, Rangers lined up with it's a side that we kind of thought we were going to see, really, bar maybe Raskin for Diamande. I think that's the only real person we would have seen different, I think. But that's pretty much 10 out of the 11 players you could pick. So went, of course, with Jack Butland in goal, James Tavernier, Leon Balogun, who we thought would start at the back due to Proper coming off injured the last game. John Suter and Jeff Day at left back. Then we had Connor Barron and Nicholas Raskin in that kind of the two in front of the defence. Now, when I saw this, I thought, oh, maybe he's going quite safe just to make sure that there wasn't going to be anything coming through. I thought originally at first, I thought their roles were going to be kind of just to play safe. Now, I can understand having someone like Connor Barron who's got that work rate in there with somebody like Raskin as well, because, you can ask a couple of things of Raskin. And it looked to me like he was going to go with kind of a bit more defensive there just to protect the defence. So I didn't think you'd see the kind of performance that we did yesterday, which was absolutely fantastic. But in the kind of three in front, it was Vaclav Czerny, Tom Lawrence, and Bajrami. And of course, Cyril Dessers up top, who's not the best of times of late. So, that's the way we kind of set up. Obviously, the game started. I was down at the Bermondsey Beer Keller, as you could tell. And it looked like Stoya had opened the scoring 2 minutes in with an absolute mess from Jack Butland. Now, I've got to be completely honest. When you watch it, that's a goal for me. Now, I know the Goalkeepers Union will be on to me now because goalkeepers are a protected species, aren't they? I've played in goal for many years as well, so I know it. And, I play to the strengths of that sometimes. But there's a little bit of a clip. Yeah, it's one of those that I look at. And personally, these days, it probably is a free kick because you see them given a lot. It would have been interesting to see what VAR would have made of it. I assumed VAR looked at it, but apparently not, because the referee blew the whistle. The Italian official blew the whistle for a foul. They can't review it because it's not a kind of clear and obvious error. So it's one of those. We got away with one there, personally. If that's been given, I'm not moaning too much about it. Jack Butland's taken a terrible touch, kind of played it a little bit too far to the side of him, where it's kind of span a little bit. And then rather than clear it, he's obviously trying to play it to somebody and just makes an absolute mess of it. And, Stoya were no great shakes, but that could have put us in a bit of a perilous position, especially when you're not playing too well. Obviously losing it losing away to Kilmarnock, you look at that and think, going a goal down at Ibrox, the crowd would have went and turned very differently. And yeah, it would have been a strange one to see. But you know what, we got away with it. We plugged away in that first half. You know, I don't think we were spectacular by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, looking at Stoya, they did move the ball around well at times, but they just weren't really able to capitalize. They had a few free kicks outside the box. They were playing on free kicks. They knew the ref was going to give them. It's one of those. They were going down very easy. And their free kicks were just kind of going high and wide. None of them, I don't think, were even on target, you know, in the whole game. They had about 4 or 5, you know, kind of in very good positions, and they didn't really do anything with it at all. 10 minutes in, of course, Tom Lawrence opened his account. And oh, what a goal it was. It was an absolute beautiful goal. I think all the goals in this game were absolutely fantastic. And to see Tom Lawrence kind of just take it and then just bend it in round the keeper, it's just exquisite. I think it even hit the side of the net as it went in. There was a replay later in the game, watching down at the London branch, where it's dead on, kind of from the halfway line. And you see when it leaves his foot, it bends away, then back in. That's just exquisite. Absolutely brilliant. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. That's what you want from a kind of number 10, so to speak. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Again, first half got a bit more scrappy once again. We kind of dropped off a little bit, I noticed, which was a bit frustrating. But then it took a wonderful hit from Václav Černý 31 minutes in to put us 2-0 up and just make us a little bit comfortable, which was good. And again, it was good to see him. He took it on his right as well, didn't he? Another great goal. You know, where was this at the weekend? You know, we are such a different side in Europe, aren't we? We are just such a different breed in Europe compared to playing domestically. Now, I know there's a lot of different things tactically from other teams that kind of do frustrate us, but you know, if we could just carry this into the league, it'd be absolutely brilliant. But no, well done to Černý. He's had his critics, rightfully so. I think that he's got a little bit of a leash on him, per se. I think tactically he's told to do a specific role, and I think that's been a bit frustrating for him because he does look very one-dimensional in that system. But you know what? He's done this a few times now this season. He scored some really good goals. He doesn't score bad goals, really, does he, Václav? But absolutely fantastic. So 2-0 at half-time. I said my prediction was 2-0 for the game. I thought that was the way it was going to go, but clearly not. Clearly not. So obviously when you're going in 2-0 at half-time, you are hoping, because I spoke before the game, we saw Lovelace was on the bench, which, you know, you're hoping to be a few goals up so you can see him come on. It's a shame that Danilo hadn't made the squad, because it would have been nice to see him coming on as well, because Dessers, again, you see it all the time from Dessers. You know when he's going to have one of these games. It was the same on Sunday. You just knew. Now, just to get a bit of an idea of how the fans were feeling, obviously, I always do a poll on game day. I did one yesterday. And the 4 categories to vote for were Rangers win, draw, FCSB win, and Gigi Becali starts for SB. You know, just a little joke one in there. Yeah, so 63.6% going into this game of Rangers fans. Well, obviously, I'm assuming Rangers fans, I think the majority will be, but 63.6% of voters reckoned that Rangers would win. That's not a lot, really, when you look at a lot of the stats you get from these polls. 63% reckon we win. That's not high, is it? Obviously, they reckon there was about 41,000 in the stadium last night, so some fans did vote with their feet, but I have to say the stadium did look quite full. And it was more that Stoya didn't really take their full allocation. You could see up at the kind of at the top stand, there was still a bit of space, but fair play to Stoya. They did bring a lot of fans, and they were in good noise as well, good voice. But yeah, 10% reckoned it would be a draw, 10.9%. 10.9% also voted for an FCSB win. So I think, yeah, I could see why. If you think we're going to draw it, we're probably going to lose it as well. And 14.5% voted for Gigi Becali starts for SB. I thought he was going to bring himself on at halftime, if I'm being honest. Yeah, the mind games from Becali, I'll never quite understand the man. But it's like a Bond baddie, really, isn't he? But yeah, so going into that second half, I think, you know, obviously we saw them make a triple change, didn't they? They pretty much swapped out their whole midfield, didn't they? Did it work for them? I think we upped it a gear. We seemed to, in our press and transitions, we did move forward in numbers. There were plenty of options for everyone, which I did like. That's something we've not done often enough. But again, this is one of the things. Stoya were pressing, weren't they? They were trying to get a goal. They're trying to get something out of the game. So they were leaving space in behind. So it was one of them. Obviously, Czerny then gets the third goal of the game, 55 minutes in. It was a great, well worked chance, and it was a great goal. You look at it and you think to yourself, can we see this every week from Václav? That'd be absolutely fantastic. Now, I know that he's got to adapt to life in Scotland, and again, Scottish football's very different. I think he's kind of been figured out the way he plays in the league, but I'd love to see more of that from him, because I think going before this game, I think as it stood, I don't think many Rangers fans would want Czerny to sign permanent. Being completely honest, I think people find him, as I say, far too one-dimensional. They're not seeing enough from him to warrant that. But yeah, that was a fantastic goal, absolutely fantastic goal, and it was actually our best result in Europe, our biggest result in Europe in 17 years. Obviously, not against the opposition per se, but for the amount of goals that we scored. You know, we score goals in Europe, but it's good to see this team that's quite shot shy and doesn't have a lot of goals in its locker, that scored one away goal in the league this year, managed to get 4 at home against the Romanian champions. So, again, I know the team was slightly changed up, but it wasn't the full reserve side that Becali was kind of claiming it was going to be. I think Becali was playing the mind games personally, because he knew they were going to get beat. And I think he wanted to kind of really lay that out that, we're putting out our reserves. Rangers can come out as if they want, but it's our reserves. He's got the perfect answer, hasn't he? Oh, yeah, we put out our reserves, so that's why you won. Yeah. Hope Gigi Becali's having a good day today. But yeah. There was a yellow card for Tav, obviously, the game. There was a few yellow cards. The referee did like giving them out. There was 3 apiece between the teams. Baron got one, Czerny got one, Tav got one, which I'm going to go into in a second. And of course, Felipe, Stefanescu, and Popescu all got one as well. But the Tavernier one I thought was a bit harsh. Obviously, Tavernier's bearing down. The ball's been punted forward, bearing down on goal, and Tav and the keeper have collided. Now, the keeper's rushing out fast. Tav's trying to connect with the ball. It's a little high. It's not studs in the keeper's face or anything. It's not like Roof against Slavia or anything like that. I thought the yellow was a bit harsh. I think Tav's got every right to go for that ball. I did think that was very harsh. So yeah, the referee, he loved the cards. In his other Europa League games, he's given out a lot of cards. So I think it was, he just loves giving them out. Likes to set the tone with discipline. One thing, there was a penalty incident back in the first half. Obviously, the ball was played in, and it came off Stoya defender's arm and behind. I know a lot of people are saying that should have been a penalty. Not for me. His arm is outstretched away from his body. Yes, he's going down, going in for a slide. His arm's already out before the ball's played, and he doesn't move it anywhere different towards the ball or anything. So his arm's already out before the ball's played. Ball's kind of come off his arm as he's going down. For me, it's a natural position when you're sliding in, where it was. And the fact he already had his arm out before the ball was played, nothing in that. Of course, I saw a lot of comments about how Rangers are being the usual, I'll use the bunny ears here, the cheats, having that first goal chopped off 2 minutes in with the Butland error. Yeah, I don't think Italian referees tend to be in the Masonic Lodge, but yeah, who knows? Vatican City loyal they could be. You never know. Yes, I know the Vatican City technically. Yeah, I know it's separate, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so it's one of them. It's just seeing the comments last night on the train home. Oh my goodness, I swear, I'm just glad we're not that crazy. Obviously, Dessers went off in the second half. It was a bit of a strange one, because it was when it was when Czerny scored his second goal. When kind of in the counter-attack, it looked like Dessers collided with another player. It was something that happened off the ball. He did appear to walk off the pitch. So some people were reporting in a huff because I didn't notice the sub being made. I saw Igmane on the park and I thought, when did he come on for Dessers? I honestly didn't notice it at all, which is understandable because it wasn't really done properly, was it? Dessers went off the park down the tunnel. Allegedly, he had an issue with his eye. So he's either been poked in the eye or something's got in his eye, which has obviously created some discomfort for him. I did hear today he was undergoing some checks at a hospital in the Glasgow area to do with his eyes. So understandably, things affecting your eyes, yeah, it's one of those. Personally, I would have gone down on the pitch and just killed a bit of time. Obviously, the medical team would have then come over to him and had a look at him. Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one for me per se. And then we had a nice fourth goal. Igmane came on, was looking strong. One thing I like about Igmane, he does offer a lot more in comparison to what Dessers does. Now, Dessers, as I've said, Dessers has a place in the team, but Igmane just offers something a little bit different. I've got some stats here. In 60 minutes that kind of Dessers was on the park for, he had 11 touches, 2 out of 9 duels won, 0 shots at 0 goals. Igmane on the park for about 30 minutes, 18 touches, 4 out of 6 duels won, 2 shots, 2 on target, 1 goal. Them stats speak for themselves. Now, all players have form issues at times. At times it does happen, but the way the things have been at the club recently, Dessers just can't sit a game out. Technically, he's the best striker at the club, and he is. When you've had Danilo out, when you've had Igmane coming through, still a project player, somebody for the future, you don't necessarily want to throw him in every game, still adapting to life in Scotland. Dessers, hasn't had that opportunity to kind of rest. I do hope he gets rested for the weekend. Or maybe if he comes on in the second half, Igmane starts, that'd be nice to see against St Mirren. But the stats speak for themselves. 0 shots, 0 goals. I know we're playing a European game, but we're at home against not the best team around. Probably our easiest game in the Europa League. Yeah, it does need to be a bit of a question, as I say. He is a great player at times, but you can't rely on him fully. But yeah, I thought it was quite interesting. Obviously, there we ran out. We were still plugging away, looking to get a fifth. Some of the transitions and some of the plays from the back were fantastic, and we were moving the ball around well. It was the things that I really did like seeing was obviously Cheney got his 2 goals. He got an assist as well for Lawrence's one when he laid it off to him at the edge of the area. Obviously Diamande got an assist as well for Cheney's other goal, and Barron got the assist for Igmane's goal. And Igmane took that goal so well, didn't he? Had the ball just tight, close to him as a defender there with him. When he was getting into the box, you think, yeah, this is going out for a corner or he's going to mess it up, because I think we're just used to seeing Dessers so much. But the defender did the right thing, I would say. He didn't dive in. He was trying to jockey him, just trying to block the shot. But Igmane's kind of close control and then just quick release. You knew where the ball was going in the back of the net. Just absolutely brilliant. I just thought that was absolutely brilliant for such a young guy. And it was good to see him get on the score sheet, open his account for Rangers, and finish off a great night after a bad Sunday. So I'm going to play now. As I said, this is Greg, who's named after John Gregg. His family are big Rangers fans. He was born in Northampton himself. He lives down in Guildford Way. So this is Greg with his thoughts straight after the final whistle, because I'd like to just get the thoughts straight away, the kind of the burning questions that are on your lips straight after the game. So this is Greg, and this is what he had to say at the London branch straight after the final whistle. Right, the final whistle has gone at Ibrox. It is Rangers 4, FCSB 0. Now, I'm here with Greg, who's a patron here at RFCSA London, the London branch. The final whistle was just gone. We've won 4-0. That wasn't bad, was it?
Buzzing for that. It was absolutely great. Makes a stark difference to the weekend. It was. We were actually pretty decent.
Do you know what we were? Because in that first half, it was a bit of a scrappy game. Obviously, we had a couple of goals up, which is happy. If we could do that every week, that'd be nice. But just to see Cheney get another goal, just to see Lovelace coming on, which is something I hoped would happen after he got pulled from the B team midweek, and of course to see Igmani and get his goal. What did you reckon to Igmani tonight?
Big fan of him. If I'm honest, he's raw. He reminds me of a young Morelos. He holds the ball up well. He passes it off really nicely. And he'll get a few goals for us, I do think.
Do you know what? I do think that as well. We've not really seen much of him, kind of shot-wise, have we? We've seen a lot of him kind of off the ball when he's come on. He's only probably played the equivalent of about 2 or 3 games, really. But no, it's good to see. And you know what? It was a well-taken goal because he had the defender on him. And, you know, sometimes defenders, strikers even, would just take a shot straight away. It comes off him. But, you know, he was very calm, very composed for his age. And he's offered more than what Dessers would offer in that first half. Now, I think Dessers does have a place in the team. I think there is a time and a place for him. He can score goals. But sadly, Dessers, again, 2 games in a row, he was pretty much non-existent, wasn't he, Greg?
No, agreed. I think Dessers gets a bad rep, if I'm honest, amongst Rangers fans. I think his hold-up play isn't great in general, but his movement is the thing that defines him, if I'm honest, and his goal-scoring ability. But he hasn't done any of that of late, and I think that's what irks Rangers fans at the minute. And Igmani has shown that tonight.
Yeah, at least it's something different that's been offered, isn't it? Because with Dessers, he's very much a form player, isn't he? So when he's in form, he's fine. Player. Yeah, he's very much a confidence player in the kind of best kind of sense. But sadly, we don't have Danilo in this squad. He was sitting in the stand tonight. Yes, he's not fully fit again, and how long is he going to be fully fit for, we don't know. But we won't be able to use him until the latter rounds. So just looking briefly there, we are now 11th in this massive Europa League thing. I still can't get my head around this. It really makes no sense. We're told 9 points will be enough for us to progress to the next round, but we've got some hard games coming up. We've got Tottenham at Ibrox, we've got Man U at Old Trafford, which weirdly is in January as well. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Do you think we'll progress?
We're in Europe after Christmas, so
yeah.
So there we are. No, I think we've got 6 points now. I think that's important. I think we need to pick up a few points in our next 4 games. Yeah, I think we've done well to get where we are with 6 points with it after 3 games.
The one thing is as well, you look at the Europa League so far, we've beaten the champions of Sweden, we've beaten the champions of Romania. Can we bring this form into the league now?
Is that not our level?
I think that's our level.
Yeah. If I'm honest, I think we are in the Europa League for a reason. I think we'll get comfortably beaten by Tottenham. If I'm honest, if I'm brutally honest, as a Rangers fan, I don't want to say that, but I do think, and we'll get beaten by United. I think it's the draw that everyone wanted, but it is a group of death. We've got a harder draw than Celtic got in their Champions League group or table, whatever you want to call it. But no, I think we'll pick up the points to progress. But
yeah, no, do you know what? I can't disagree with that, to be fair. I think anything against Tottenham, anything against Man U, I think is a bonus, isn't it? But now, with Clement's been under a lot of kind of pressure. Do you think he's absolved some of that tonight, if that's even the word, or do you think there's still a lot of pressure on him now?
He's absolved a little bit. I think there's still the lack of playing style that Rangers have. I think that's a big deal for me personally, and a lot of Rangers fans. But I think he definitely has absolved a lot of that. Rangers need to win games of football, and I mean, yes, we lost at the weekend, but we need to carry on winning. That's it. Momentum is key. Confidence is key. As you spoke about Dessers earlier, confidence is paramount.
Do you know what? I do agree, and that's the worry a little bit, isn't it? Because with Dessers' form, are we going to now try and rely on Igmani, or are we just going to keep playing Dessers? It's all questions with no answers, really, to be fair. But Danilo, he looks like he might come back into the fold. Do you think he can offer anything?
6 million worth?
Well, do you know what? Weirdly, in an alternate universe, this was actually true. When I was doing some research on Feyenoord about a year ago when we were signing Dessers and Danilo, believe it or not, the Feyenoord fans wanted Danilo and Dessers to be their top 2.
Wow. That surprises me. Danilo, for me, isn't a Rangers player. Neither is Dessers. But I like the look of Lovelace. I think he can come in, add some numbers to the squad, add some goals to the squad. I think Dessus and Danilo, when's their contract up?
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think this is probably last chance for him now, really, isn't it? So if there's any more injuries, I think it's going to be a bit like Roof, sadly. But you know what? We've won. It's 4-0. Chips in Haim. We go on to the next game. I'm happy. I take it you're happy?
Happy to. More pints.
Brilliant. Well, thanks ever so much for speaking to us, Greg. And more the Rangers.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
And that was Greg. What a guy. He's a lovely guy. We were talking throughout the game. Absolutely great guy. That's the thing about the London branch. It's great. You just meet all different types of Rangers fans from all different backgrounds. You've got people that are suited and booted that have come out the office that are in there, you know, to watch the Rangers. You've got people there on holiday, you know, people from Glasgow, people from abroad. And you've got a lot of English Rangers fans as well. And people that are just experiencing it. And it was, it's great to see. It's great to see. Now, some stats for you at the end of that game. So obviously this was the first time we've won a major European match by 4 goals. The last time we did that was against Hapoel Tel Aviv. I remember that game very well, actually, in the old UEFA Cup in 2007. I think that was the first time that they actually did that group stage thing for the UEFA Cup. I think that was the first season they'd done it. Now, Stoya, they've now lost every one of the last 8 matches against a team for the United Kingdom. So a combined scoreline of 24-2. So obviously they've scored 2, conceded 24. They've scored 2, conceded 24. They've conceded 3 or more goals in 6 of these 8 matches. So that just kind of tells you where Romanian football is a little bit. Don't get me wrong, they've played bigger teams than us in the UK, but yeah. Now, Vaclav Černy's got a little bit of a record himself. He's only the second Rangers player to have a hand in 3 or more goals in a Europa League game. There we go. So 2 goals and 1 assist, of course. And who was the last person to do that? Alfredo Morelos against Royal Antwerp in February 21. So, of course, Morelos, our all-time European top goal scorer there. So, well done to Černy. We had a lot of shots in that game. I think we had 22 shots by the end of the game. But in the first half, we had 15 shots, which is the most we've ever managed in the opening half of a Europa League match. So that's interesting. A stat that I saw from the Rangers Journal last night, which was absolutely brilliant. So well done to the guys at the Rangers Journal for digging this out. This is definitely a good one. James Tavernier, our captain, made his 54th appearance in major European competition for Rangers. He's now level with Steve Davis, so obviously Stephen Davis. Only the people that are only in front of him are Alan McGregor on 78, John Gregg on 62, and Barry Ferguson on 60. So there is a possibility by the end of the season Tav could end up maybe 3rd in that for European appearances. I know things are different now. We play a lot more European games, and especially now with this, we get an extra 2 Europa League games. Back in the day, it was knockout. You might only play 2 games in Europe. Much different back then what it is now. So when you look at John Gregg with 62, that's amazing. That really is amazing. So great stat there from the Rangers Journal. And Tom Lawrence now is netted in back-to-back games. So he scored, obviously, he did score against Lyon, of course, with a fantastic goal. I was trying to think of the team there. I was thinking he has scored, doesn't he? And of course, against Stoya. And both of them goals have come in the first 20 minutes of games. So that's another interesting stat there. So, yeah, you know what? Hopefully we can take this form now into the league. Obviously, the big question is, which I've put on the banner there, can we take this form into the league? It's not something any Rangers manager's ever been able to fix, really. Scottish football is very different. Teams set up with no space for us to play with. We just have to be a bit more direct, I think, in the league. Now, hopefully, it's going to be a difficult game against St Mirren, no matter what. It's going to be a very bogged down, very hard game to play. Not a game you necessarily want to play after a European midweek, but you know what? We need to get back to winning ways in the league, and hopefully we can do that against St Mirren. So, yeah, so my next pod will probably be out either Monday night or Tuesday. I'm going to have Harvey from RFCSA London, the London branch. He does a lot of the social media stuff for them and a lot of other things. And he'll be giving us the lowdown on what he thought on this game and what he makes of the St Mirren game, which I will give you the lowdown on as well. So that's either coming Monday or Tuesday, and I'll be hopefully with the Rangers Journal next week as well. I'm on there with the guys there at the Rangers Journal. They're absolutely fantastic. They're really getting a lot of viewing figures now. They do really well with their podcast, and they've got some great content on their sites. They're on YouTube, they are on Twitter, they're on Facebook, they are on TikTok, they're on everywhere. Much like myself, so at the Rangers Journal they are, and of course I'm at the Ibrox channel. Get us followed on TikTok, because I do extra little bits there. I did like a little pre-match thing in front of the Shard last night before going into the game. Nice surroundings, nice settings. And I'm on YouTube as well. I've not really done a lot with YouTube. I've only really started it up. So just head over there. This video will be on there as well as on the audio podcast stores at the Ibrox channel. So do find that. And I'd just like to thank you all for listening. The listens have been going up recently. So I'd just like to thank you all for that, for sticking with my crazy tones and some of my rants. But no, it is appreciated. So I hope Gigi Becali's having a good day. I hope you're all having a good day. And have a lovely weekend. At least Rangers can't ruin it until Sunday. At least that's something, guys. Right, take care. We are the people.